Hi, everybody. Barry McGuire here for Barry McGuire's Creative Real Estate Education Group. It's the Monday main event. We meet up every Monday and talk about real estate in general, creative real estate in particular. We have lots of experts on of various sorts: tax, insurance, foreclosure, development, financing, all kinds of folks who can talk about how their particular expertise fits into the creative real estate scene. That's where we're at. My wife Donna and I teach focus workshop courses. I've been a real estate lawyer, 47 years, and a real estate lawyer for probably 40 of those 47 years. We still own investment properties ourselves. We did our first live focus workshop event in Calgary on May 7th and 8th of this year. Man, it was actually good to get back in a room with people because it's just not the same as doing a Zoom event. That was a lot of fun. It was our rapid cash event where we discuss all the creative real estate strategies over 2 days with like-minded people. And our next event is coming up September 24th. This will be an agreement for sale all-day event. I'll tell you, you need at least a full day to give agreements for sale the full treatment. But that's coming up, September 24th in Edmonton. There'll be some banners showing up here and other information to tell you how to get registered for that. So today we're going to talk about, I don't know, could you call it the panic that's going on? The sky is falling that's going on. Interest rates have gone up. There's been some real substantial kickers. There's gloom and doom. The talk is of recession and, the sky is falling. What's a creative real estate investor to do in this kind of a market across the country? And we know there are different markets across the country. Or maybe we should just bail. Maybe we should just hunker in, that pull the curtains and turn the lights down and not go out and just wait for it all to be over, because that would probably be sort of safe to do. But I mean, is that the thing to do? No, it really isn't. So we're going to go have a chat with the redoubtable Wayne Hillier and his sidekick, Neil Taniguchi.
I'm Batman. I am Batman.
You're going to be Batman. Okay. All right.
He's Robin.
He's Robin.
He ain't here to defend himself.
No, Neil. He'll be fine with being Robin. Nicer tights, I think, for Robin. So we're gonna chat today with Wayne and Neil about today's market and what should we do. And of course, I think one thing we all realize is this is the first time that there's been maybe talk of depression or recession. Of course, it's the first time interest rates have ever gone up. So on the other hand, that is true for some investors. They've never seen an interest rate rise. Hate to pull out the old chestnuts, but my first mortgage was 11%. Bank rates were 12%. And my seller listened to my plea that he be my bank. And he went, Barry, I'm going to help you out here. I'll be your bank. And you know what? You don't have to pay those bandits at the bank 12%. It's 11% all day long with me. How do you like that? I went, oh, man, you're my savior. 11%? How lucky can a guy get? Yeah, so that was another time, but things happen all the time in life and in the real estate market. The one thing you can depend on is change. Stuff is happening all the time. Nothing stays the same. Just when you think you've got it all taped, life and the market will throw a curve at you. And so you have to decide whether you're going to analyze and see what's really going on, or whether you're going to just, pull the pin and crawl back in your hole and die. Or if not die, not do anything. So Wayne, well, let's talk a little bit about that. I know you've been very busy with your fix and flip business. You've been buying a lot. I mean, last time we were on, you were working on smoothing out the contracting process. I know that you really wanted to get that going. So that very important detail of any fix and flip business is taken care of. And so tell us about that a little bit. I want to hear about that as we dive into these other things. How are you doing on streamlining and smoothing out and taking care of that aspect of fix and flip?
I'd be lying if I said it was easy. It's a process. It's definitely a process. And, I don't like to do things slowly. I just like to just jump right in and head first into, tons of deals. And, but you know what? Life's too short. And I think the best way to learn is under pressure. So, we did put a lot of pressure on our contractors, and we've been learning. We made a couple mistakes. We overlooked a few things, and with complete transparency, we've gone over budget in a couple areas, and it was a little concerning, but we're working through it and we're fixing it. But all in all, ultimately, it's been going really good. It's I think the best way to really try it out was to really just to go head first into it. The crew's fantastic. Everything's moving along great. It's just, like I said, it's a process. I think that as we finish up these handful of flips that are coming up, should be finished next month. We should have a really good idea of like how things are going to look moving forward. We have a few other projects that are starting up. One next month, three more next month. And then one in September. So, I think that by the time those get started, we should have it all figured out, ironed out, and no more kinks. And I'm pretty excited.
Well, you should be excited. I applaud you and Gabby for diving right in, as we say and have said so often in our focus workshops. It's better to get started than be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You can't ever be perfect, but you can, do a reasonable amount of diligence and educating of yourself. And then you can dive in and pay attention to your business and work hard on it. And yeah, you will make mistakes. And yeah, it's fix and flip. The person who's done fix and flip and hasn't gone over budget actually hasn't done a fix and flip.
It's true.
So
true.
It doesn't matter what they tell you. It's impossible. The most experienced fix and flippers run into things all the time that stuff happens. And so as everybody, I think, understands who's listening, but it's important to say, you really, really, really have to be careful on the buy side.
Mm-hmm.
You have to buy at a price that gives you room to do the kind of renovation and fixing that you want to do, and then has room to leave you the kind of profit that you want to make, and especially has room for those contingencies that show up that cause your your final price to be off a little bit, or your costs to exceed, and that throw you into a negative rather than a positive position. But
yeah,
it's all about the buy, and not to get caught up in the franticness of 3 or 4 other fix and flip folks bidding for the same property. Often not the only one, and you can't pay too much. You cannot pay too much.
There's always deals to be had. Just go to the next one. Just go to the next one. Another one's coming in a few days. I promise you. There's so many deals, and there's not that many people in the market actually doing fix and flips. And to be honest, there's not that many people that are buying rental properties either. You think like this is like, everybody's got this scarcity mindset, like, oh, I have to get it, like someone else is going to steal it. Trust me, there's tons of deals to be had.
Yeah,
if you know how to find them. So,
well, and I think that is a really important point for what we're talking about today, which is what's going on in today's marketplace. So what's going on in today's marketplace is probably, what goes on in every marketplace every day, is that there are always deals out there to be done. There are always deals out there to be done, no matter what. And in this kind of a marketplace, I think one of the positives of it is people who are in the creative side of things get a little edgy about what's going on. They go, why don't we just wait for a while and just see what's happening? And they pull back and pull out. And so there isn't as much competition. And if you have a marketing plan that brings you deals, you'll go, you know what, I thought it was slow out there, but you know, I'm seeing lots of deals. So I totally agree with you that there are always lots of deals to do if you're working hard on marketing.
Yep. Absolutely.
I really do get that part. Now, you know, on the other side of things, the financing side of things, that is something that is impacting people's ability to buy.
Mm-hmm.
It impacts their ability to buy, but people have to buy and people have to sell. People still want to buy houses. People were buying like I said, when I bought my first home, it was the standard 5-year rate was 12%, and it had been 12% for a number of years. It was just well known in the marketplace that if you wanted a 5-year term and a 25-year amortization, 12% was what you have to pay. And people bought and people sold. And so you can buy less house for sure, but people still have to do things. So folks, you have to know that life isn't going to stop because of talk of depression or prices slightly lowered or financing that's slightly more expensive. Life isn't going to stop. You just have to kind of revamp some of your calculations. You might even find that there's more business to do than you were previously experiencing because there is less competition in the marketplace. So that's it's really important to not get caught by the negativity and the herd mentality. And that's really something that creative investors have to understand, and always, whether it's better economic times, or whether it's different economic times, or whether it's higher rates or lower rates, it doesn't matter. We in creative real estate are cutting a different swath through the hayfield. I mean, this is our own journey, and we understand things differently than other people. And if we understand those strategies, those creative strategies, we will definitely recognize the opportunities to pull out another thing that we say a lot at our focus workshops.
Absolutely.
It's just so true. Just so true. Well, here's something interesting. I got an email from the guy in Calgary on the commercial side of things, and he wanted to talk about agreements for sale. Barry, we love agreements for sale. I found your name. It looks like you're one of the few guys who does agreements for sale. And, we love them for this, this, and this. He was very enthusiastic about it. And he wanted to talk technicalities of AFS deals. So he's done a fair number. Instead of people going, so what is an AFS and how does that work? This guy wanted to dive into the details, and it was a lot of fun talking to him. But he says that they do quite a number of deals on the commercial side of things, strip malls, apartment buildings. And it is true to say that I think agreements for sale, where they kind of died off a little bit on the residential side when easier financing came into place, because as everybody knows, an agreement for sale, an AFS, is a seller financing strategy. And so when there's other easier financing available, then who needs sellers to be your lender? You don't, except when you do. And so the agreement for sale strategy is pretty well known on the commercial side, as well as on the agricultural side. Farmers, you can probably go out into, if you go into 10 farms in Alberta and Saskatchewan and talk to farmers, if they understand what an agreement for sale is, 8 out of 10 of them will say, yeah, we know what that is. My dad bought this farm with an AFS. And look who is here. It's Neil.
Howdy, hi.
Howdy, hi. Howdy, hi. How you doing there, bro?
Other than being a little late, doing well, thank you.
Oh, no, you're right on time. Neil time, anyway. I mean, I think.
Real time, Neil time. Yeah.
Real time, Neil time. We didn't even say
Island time. Yeah.
We just said he'll be here.
Yeah.
He'll be here. So we've been talking about creative real estate strategies in today's market. Is the sky falling? Should we just all hunker down and forget about it? Are there no opportunities? I mean, should we just forget it and go buy some Royal Bank shares? And Wayne's position is that there are lots of deals out there to be done right now. Right now, there are lots of deals to be done. I chimed in with, there are always lots of deals to be done, and maybe even more when people are thinking it's tough times. They kind of don't want to do things. What are you seeing down Calgary way and Airdrie?
It's an interesting timing, and that this topic came up for conversation. We had a call last Wednesday or Thursday from a seller who is concerned that she won't be able to renew her mortgage when it comes due next April. So she's already out looking for options, one of which is to sell the house, take a little bit of equity, use it to buy an RV, go live in the RV for a while they rebuild and get back on their feet. So even in an economy that is on fire, depending on who you ask, there are always going to be people who have individual situations, is the easiest way to put it. So we chatted back and forth, and she understood fairly quickly the concept of agreement for sale. She wanted to talk to her husband about it. They were concerned that this mortgage might prevent them from getting approved for the RV purchase. Right. And I suggested to them that possibly, again, I said, well, I'm happy to cross that bridge with you folks as we get there. Typically, I find that the qualification, what's the word I'm looking for, parameters for things like cars and RVs are far more loose than they are for mortgages. And you see people get approved for those types of loans on a more frequent basis, or a looser basis, if you want to call it that, than the strict guidelines that the mortgage industry has to follow. So there's definitely opportunities out there. I think in talking with realtor friends, it's the market here has slowed without going as badly as you're reading and hearing in the media and the press. Oh my gosh, like property values are plummeting or down drastically, maybe in Toronto, maybe in Vancouver. Mm-hmm. Certainly, we actually listed a condo on Thursday or Friday. It went to market, a townhouse, and we definitely did not have the same number of showings that we would have seen in the frenzy of February and March. Right. So the traffic is down, the listing count is up, the sales seem to be holding in volume, and right now the values are holding-ish. So we actually had an offer last night, and we got a $5,000 bump out of them this morning, and we were just playing for that last little bit. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and they've walked for now, and we'll see if they've walked forever. And we were too close to a deal, so we should make that deal, is the easiest way to put it. Yeah. So there's still activity going on if you're looking overall in the market. It's not to say the whole market has come to a screeching halt, but you are seeing people, if they're listing, the word in the street that we're hearing is, if you're going to go to market, you can't overlist, and it better be fairly shiny, quote unquote, right now. So it has to be priced right in the market, and stuff that's priced right. We have another townhouse. This one's a flip that should be ready by the end of the month. And I've been watching in that complex, and the sales there seem to be still chugging along, happening reasonably quickly. And again, I don't see any erosion in values there yet. So again, sometimes, what's that old expression? There is no such thing as an average house in Canada. There's no such thing as an average house in Alberta. There's no such thing as an average house in Edmonton or Calgary. Mm-hmm. There are, within each one of those markets, there are microcurrents, is the best way to put it. And so you'll see investors are always looking for a good deal. So that investor type property typically is the least affected when you're in that market. The product that gets affected the most is the high end product in my head.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I mean, I was looking at the report I get every month from Calvert Home Mortgage. They talk about Ontario and Alberta because those are the places that they do most of their lending. And yeah, the stats are, there are a few more listings, but prices have been fairly firm. A few, fewer sales, but the sky has not fallen, for sure.
Correct.
the sky has definitely not fallen. And yeah, you know, if you're looking to sell, you have to price. So you got to have I think an experienced realtor is important. You can't be trying to sell at last month or 2 or 3 months ago prices if those aren't the prices. Otherwise, you chase a deal down. You list a little higher than you should, and then you come to your senses. Your realtor told you that was a little high, but you wanted to try, and then you go, fine, let's reduce the price, and then you reduce it to yet again, last month's price, not this month's price, and you chase it down, finally you give up. So, I think that is also fertile ground for our buyers, for folks who are in the market to buy, to look at some properties like that and get their realtor to keep an eye out for the properties where the seller has just not been able to face reality, and 4 months later his property is still for sale, at numerous price reductions, and that could be the seller that's giving up and will listen to your offer that suits you and won't suit him, but he gives up. So that's a positive in today's market for our folks.
Some of the opportunities are being created by the increase in mortgage rates right now. So if you're on a variable rate mortgage, the last 1% jump, the rough math is that your payments have gone up $50 a month for every $100,000 of principal. Round numbers might be $48, $49. We call it close enough at 50. That is going to push, again, unfortunately, some people to a point where they're getting uncomfortable with their payments, because remember, that's not the first increase. Yeah. There's also another, whole segment of that borrowing side of things, where if you have a renewal coming due and you were in at some of these crazy low rates, and you see what your renewal offers are in this market, that can create a little bit of a disconnect and puts some pressure on the sales side of it for some folks. And again, not everyone has the ability to have a property sit vacant 2 or 3 months while they wait for a sale. So again, one of the advantages of agreement for sale, these folks were looking for next April because they wanted to time it with the sale with the maturity date for their mortgage to increase what their equity position would be. And of course, I said to them, well, one of the advantages if I take over your payments is that I become responsible for your payout penalty, and we can work just on the equity point as it sits today. And so they were looking at that because we don't want to be moving the RV and putting the skirting on it in December or January. So we're talking that possibly we might close with them as early as September, October. So there's variables that occur in there. So.
All right. Well, let's talk some specifics there. They're worried that about their renewal. Are they worried that they won't get a renewal, or that when it renews, they won't be able to afford? What's their concern there?
They actually said they were worried that they would not get renewed. And despite me saying, no, in my experience, the majority of mortgages that come up for renewal, quite frankly, there's no credit check. Rarely is probably the better word. A credit check that happens, you don't have to resubmit what your income is, because she's currently, she was on disability, now she's unemployed. I think her biggest concern is they have a credit card credit card or line of credit, some form of revolving loan tied in at the same bank, and they think that's going to affect their mortgage renewal. And I said, that one I can't comment on with 100% certainty. But if it's in collections, I said, you can always go to the bank. It was a $5,000 amount. I said, you can go to the bank now because you're still 8 to 10 months away. So again, trying to see if we can give them some options that they don't have to sell their place. Yeah. Mind you, in this case, by the time I came along, they've pretty much made up their mind which way they want to go.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I had a call from another lady just coincidentally over the weekend. Nothing to do with the economy, nothing to do with anything, but they had bought a property for their adult children to give them a start, to get them going. And she said she had to move back into the property, and she finally booted them from the property. So I want to talk about family dynamics, like one of these. Regardless, I said there are opportunities if you want to keep renting that house. And she's like, no, I'm done. I want to get out. And she was very, very, very early in her process that she's just like, I want to just try and get some my research done until I make a decision. And I don't want to call a realtor yet, because so I call a realtor and they're just going to keep bugging me and bugging me and bugging me, which is not necessarily the way it goes. And I said that too. We have connections for people who I promise you will not bug you, if that's the way you want to go. There's a question here from a Donna McGuire.
McGuire, I think that is.
Are these calls coming from our website or from advertising? They're coming more or less, Donna, from, I'll say our website, but it's organic. So we have an Airdrie House Buyers website that, quite frankly, needs a little bit of a tune-up because we're not seeing the traffic we should on it. But it has enough of a lasting organic side to it that we're still getting traffic on it. So both of those calls, what's rude about my website? Both of those calls came from people doing a Google search and finding us. And the lady who is looking to go into the RV, she then further did a search and tracked us down and looked to see who we were, because she said, I've heard of some of these house buying things can be sketchy. And we talk about that in the course. It's one of the things that if you're into the house buying business, there's definitely a little bit of reputation to overcome. And that, the whole building trust thing is a whole darn near segment in and of itself, but it's something we touch on lots. And I'm sure in September we'll hear about it again, right?
Yes, we will. Yeah, no, we certainly will. And whenever people have problems, and so, a couple of these opportunities you've talked about, Neil, are people that have problems. So a few things come out of that. Folks often have a really good idea of what they want to do. And although we believe you should point them in other directions, if you can see there's a better way for them to fix whatever their issue is, often they go, thank you very much, Wayne. Thank you very much, Neil. You're such nice guys, but this is what we want to do. So yeah, we point them in other directions, but folks who have issues in their lives, like mom who had to boot her kids out, and this other couple who are thinking about the RV thing. I mean, that's kind of stuff shows up all the time in every market. So I want everybody to just remember that, not to a large extent, but we solve a lot of problems on the creative side of things. It's often people who have issues and troubles that need to talk to folks like us who understand creative real estate, and can offer them some kind of help, some kind of solution to a problem. And that doesn't change a whole bunch. There are always those opportunities out there, for sure. Now, I had a call today from a lady who wants to deal with her house in the Northwest Territories, and asked her how she found me. She said, I Googled creative real estate and found you.
Wow.
So, yeah. So not sure if I can help her up in the Northwest Territories, but we have an office up there, and maybe one of our lawyers will go, Barry, what the heck is an agreement for sale? I got this lady bugging me.
Not bugging you. Don't say that.
They don't say. You're right, Donna. People don't say it. I have to be careful. Donna's right beside me. She'll poke me if I get off track a little bit. Wayne, what else are you seeing in your end of it? I know you're focusing on your fix and flip business, but I also know that you and Gabby are up every day doing your radio show. And let's talk about that a little bit. Anybody who hasn't listened to Wayne's radio show in the morning, just tell everybody where to find you guys. Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Wayne in the morning. Well, you know what? You can find it on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, wherever you listen to your podcast. But if you want to join in the morning, there's an app called Podbean, and we're on there as well every morning at 6 a.m. Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. Mountain Time, and it's an open show live. We roll out of bed around 5:30. We make a coffee and we start the show. There's really no plan. It just really depends on what people want to talk about that particular day, what we got going on in our business that particular day. And you can click the call-in button and ask any questions that you want for free. So every morning it's free coaching. Come on in and ask a question, and we'll talk about it. And every morning for an hour, so it's a lot of fun. But by doing that, obviously, we do get to see what people are up to. We get to see what people are talking about. We get to see what people are complaining about. And we have a lot of discussions about that. So yeah, there is a lot going on. Obviously, the interest rates and inflation are the big ones right now. And trying to figure out what that means, right? What does it mean today, and what does it mean for tomorrow? How is it affecting us today? I mean, obviously, people are getting scared, right? No one's buying as much as they were a few months ago. So, oh crap, that's going to affect my flipping business. Me personally, I've got one on the market right now. As you guys were talking about, like, listing it higher and everything else, I thought you were reading my diary. Like, literally, it's exactly what's going on with one of our listings right now. I had an offer. I'm like, I could get better than that. And I tried to play the game. Now they're ghosting me. I'm like, oh crap. And now I got another offer that just came in today. That's $8,000 less. And I'm like, oh, Wayne, you dumb bugger. Why didn't you take the first one? Now I'm stuck and it's on the market. And so, yeah, I mean, like, less buyers means that less demand. I can't be as greedy as I was. Not greedy, but, I can't test the market like I could a few weeks ago. And it makes me reconsider, or it makes me think about what's going on with my other listings that are going to be coming up next month. Am I going to be selling for less because there's less demand? But I like what you said there. And it's something I've thought about a lot, is that, yes, there's not as many buyers, but when everybody's scared of stuff like this, when they're scared and they want to take a step away from the market, whether that be a home buyer or whether that be investors, it means there's less people looking at deals. I told you there's tons of deals. That means that though I might not be able to sell it for as much on the back end, on the front end, I might be able to get a really good deal. So it doesn't really matter. And as long as you're putting out a good product, then in my opinion, as long as you have a good renovated product that, is the best in the neighborhood, it'll sell, right?
It'll sell.
It'll always sell.
Absolutely so.
If you do have a good product. So I just might have to focus more on, getting better deals on the front end now, as opposed to being, maybe I wouldn't say that we were desperate months ago, but when the market was hot, we were putting offers on everything. We were, in competing offers, we were paying more than what we'd normally pay because we knew that we were going to sell. But now we might just have to switch that. And whenever things change, you just got to pay attention, keep your finger on the pulse, and just adapt. And if that means we break even on a couple houses here, well, at least I know what to do for the next couple of months. Right? The market's always going to change. And the way I look at it is that through all this chaos, there's always going to create more opportunities. But if you sit on the sidelines and just see what everybody else is going to do, you're going to miss out.
I think folks have to be living in reality. But you are now going to be living more in reality on what the pricing side means, realizing that you can probably settle it on the front end and make a little less on the back end, but you got to move your product. When you've put all that money into renovating, you want to move it and move on to the next one, and you adjust your thinking and your tactics as you work through. And what was great a month ago is different today, and that's often where the opportunities show up, is where people insist that it needs to be the way it used to be and not the way it is now. And that it comes to mind our discussions about where an AFS is useful in a really hot market, when sellers when there is less need for seller financing. So, those sellers often want to get the price that they could have obtained if they had a sold, a few months ago. And so you can offer them that price with terms that work and, pay them some interest. You can make an AFS work in a hotter market. That's just one of the other sides of it. So, yeah, I totally get it that in a flip business, you have to be totally aware of the market the way it is today and the pricing, but also that a really nicely renovated house in a nice market. I mean, you can renovate the heck out of a property in Norwood or Alberta Avenue and have it be the very best on the block, but it's tougher to get your price there. But if you're doing that in Belgravia or Otwell or other well thought of areas in Edmonton, who's doing that?
I muted him, but
Thank you. This might be the offer coming back to the table.
Hey,
Step
all
up for a
right.
sec.
Bye.
he didn't mute himself. I'll mute him.
Go get him, Neil.
Hey, man, you got to answer the phone when money calls, right?
That's exactly right. Definitely.
Back on that agreement for sale thing, I've been thinking a lot about agreement for sale lately because it has been a little dormant the last couple of years, maybe the last year and a half. There's still opportunities, but typically when you're looking for seller financing deals, there needs to be some sort of a motivation from the seller, right?
Yeah.
And with a lack of, when things are good, right, and things are, multiple offers and prices are going up in value and everybody's selling, it's great, it's hot, interest rates are low, there's not a whole lot of motivation. Also, I mean, the economy's been doing a little bit better the last year, lots of jobs. There hasn't been a whole lot of reason for people to be in a motivated position. I don't like using the word desperate. I try and use motivated. But now that things are changing and more, a lot of people mortgage payments are going up and less demand and inflation, cost of gas, and everything. It's like, people are starting to feel it, right? And some people are going to need out pretty soon. I don't know if it's going to happen in the next little while. I think that there's going to be a period of time that it'll gradually get to there. But when it does get to that point, are you prepared? Are you there? Is your business ready to take on that demand? Or do you have marketing out to help these people? Or are you just going to wait on the sidelines until you start seeing guys like me and guys like Neil, taking advantage of it? Like, oh, wow, Wayne's doing it. Cool. I should do this. I'm like, how do I create a website? And like, you got to be ahead of the curve, right? You want to be the one, you got to see these opportunities ahead of time, and you got to make sure that you're prepared. Right? Make sure you got your website up and ready. You make sure you got your Kijiji ads and your Facebook ads, and make sure everybody knows what it is that you do. Because when it does come up, you want to be the first person that people call. Take advantage of it. Who knows? I mean, things could turn around in a couple months and then the opportunity's gone. You missed it. Just like flipping. Everybody was like hot for flipping there for a little while. And then they missed it because they didn't. So
that's
I truly do believe that there's going to be a lot of families that need some help here in the next little while, especially if they're on open. Which one is the adjustable rate? The ones where the mortgage payments change.
Variable rate. Yeah.
Is it variable or adjustable? Sean's here. I know he's going to correct me. I always forget it. But the ones where the mortgage payments change, with the Bank of Canada rate changing, I mean, those people are going to be. Mortgage payments have gone up quite a bit over the last 6 to 12 months. Property taxes are going up, insurance is going up. I mean, it's gonna be a lot of people that need some help. So
it's an inflationary environment that the person who understands how it works and works hard on understanding and finding deals that fit is the person who will succeed in this environment. And we're not trying to tell people that nothing has changed and it's all easy. I mean, it's stuff changes and you have to adapt. You have to be ready. You have to analyze, and I think you have to keep going. If nothing else, you can improve your marketing, as Wayne said. If you don't have some way of attracting opportunities, how are you going to do a deal? Mm-hmm. You're not going to do a whole whack of deals just through normal multiple listing MLS deals. It's not that there's no deals to be done there. There are. If you've got the right realtor, they can do lots of stuff for you. But you've got to get out and do other things and throw your hat in the ring to make things come your way. And we know you guys from having done focus workshops for all these years that everybody starts out with no idea of where to find potential deals. I mean, they start and they spend the money and they create a basic website. I mean, I particularly still love listening to the audio blurb. Well, actually with a little bit of animated video for Andrea Workington, one of our other focus workshop leaders, that every time she plays that about 2-minute audio animated clip, that works all over North America. I mean,
it's all scratchy.
It's scratchy and the audio isn't so good anymore. But for we creative investors, it still gives the message to people that there is someone who can help you if you have a problem, who can buy your home and figure things out for you, and you get in touch with them. So if you're doing nothing else, figure out how to attract some deals to look at, and you will find that there. Pardon me, my goodness, there are deals to do.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
When we first started, I think we had weekly mentor calls, and I believe darn near every call started with the same question. Of the 12 marketing methods to buy houses out there, tell us what you've done with all 12 methods in the last week since we spoke last. And we would go through to say, okay, we did a bandit sign run, we did a Kijiji ad, we did our website, we went through them all, and we were trying to say which one works. And we've heard that before, and the answer is there is no one method that works to buy houses. So Wayne is right in that you have to have your be ready, right? And ready means an ad up, a lure in the water, so to speak, right now, and multiple lures attracting different fish, so to speak, in the time. So
yeah. Can we talk about like another big? I was talking about home buyers a little bit, but can we talk about the opportunities that are possibly coming with agreement for sales from landlords?
Sure.
I've seen a whole lot of landlords getting scared because their mortgage payments are going up. Whereas, before, I'm talking amateur landlords, the ones that have like the break-even cash flow or maybe a negative $100 a month in cash flow. I've seen a whole lot of desperation. I use the word desperation, motivation coming from the landlord community, because a lot of them are trying to get out because they're worried about the interest rates going like this. And they're like, if these things keep going up, it's going to be negative $500 a month in cash flow. I can't take this anymore. I need help. Whereas you, as a sophisticated or an experienced creative real estate investor, you might be able to take on that negative cash flow for a short period of time and get into some opportunities where you can buy some properties for little to nothing down with some good terms.
No, I do think that is happening.
100%.
This kind of market, when things shuffle, people get scared, and that it's true. And then for amateur landlords who haven't really maybe bought the right property, they're rented low, they don't have the right tenants, they don't know how to manage, they didn't like it anyway, they're sorry they got into it, and now with rising rates, they're going, okay, that's the last straw. And they're going to be saying those three words that as creative investors, we love to hear. I just want out.
Yeah.
I just want out. And folks they'll say that to you. They'll use those exact words. And you know what? You open up your heart and say, let's chat. Let's see what your issues are, and let's see if we can help you, because we always want to try and turn it into a win-win that helps that desperate landlord, as well as, of course, gets us a deal we can live with. We don't run charities here. We run real estate businesses that we intend and must be profitable, or we're not going to be in business, just like any business person. So yeah.
So you want to have some fun with this offer?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so here we go. We listed last. And I need, if you're I see there's a number of people watching here. Everyone say hello, and please promise to vote on this one. We listed at $359,900 last Friday. We've had literally about 6 or 7 showings, which again, you're going like, oh my God, my place should be over list by now and sold in multiple. No, that was February. So, oh my gosh, it's 10 days. Why hasn't, it's 3 days. So the offer came in on Sunday at $345,000. Clean offer, no conditions, no inspection, no condo docs, no finance.
Really?
They want it August 12th, but they want a massive $14,900 discount. So first and foremost, I'm going that way. That I can never do this right. Wayne, Wayne, what's your that's easy when you're up there. What's your counter? $359,900 to $345,000. Do you take it? The answer is no. What's your counter?
$359,000 down to what?
$359,900, and they came in at $345,000 and a $5,000 deposit.
What's your bottom?
That's what he's asking you.
I'd probably go 356, and just to show how serious I am, 356, 357. Like back. Let's get back up here. on the
Barry?
first.
I want to know what your realtor told you.
Well, he and I have done so many deals. He knew my number before he sent it to me.
Okay.
He's
I think my
actually
number's
negotiated a
355.
deal when he can't get a hold of me. Anyone else in the chat? What would you count on that? I got a 356, Barry.
You know, I think I might go. I'd go 352.9.
I want to buy a car from that man. I did it wrong again, from Barry. We went back at 359
Yeah, good.
and we said, this thing's only been on market for so many days. We're getting showings. In the meantime, we're texting everyone else. I'm not, he is, to see if we can generate a crazy multiple offer, even in a down market. They still happen.
Mhm.
That was towards the end of the night last night. They came back this morning. Guess what they bumped?
Oh, I'm sure they're in the 350s. That's for sure.
350.
Yeah. All right, now you're playing. Now
what did we serve them?
they were testing you. Yeah.
Okay. So
350,
Barry,
okay.
follow that bouncing ball. 345
350,
to
okay.
359
Well-
to 350. What do you serve them?
Seems like, you know, that was a decent bump coming back. You went $900 and they went 5,000.
Yep.
Well, let's just use that. Let's use that same thing. Let's go 358.5.
I
Wayne,
gotta
what do you got?
know. I gotta know where you're aiming at to know how to negotiate.
I'm aiming to get the most that I can out of this property.
Okay, because
Remember, you sell it for what it's worth. Not cost doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What if I'm in it for 400,000? What if I'm in it for 250?
Oh boy, I
Cost
wonder.
doesn't matter.
Hmm.
I'm looking at the comments. The comments are exploding, and I'm loving this right now.
Oh, hang on a second. I'm sorry, I wasn't looking. Okay. Someone says split the difference. I don't think that you're a big fan of that.
I'm not a big split the difference guy. Those of you
Yeah.
who know me, that there's a book on that.
Yeah.
Nolan 349.9 was a 49. Yeah, I'm having a ton of fun, Donna. 349.9 was that your counter in 345? 354.9, Shripad. So we're at 359. Barry says go 358.5. Wayne, what do you got? What do you got?
I think you, knowing you and your tone, I'm thinking you stuck at 359.
Nah, we threw him a bone. We went 357.5. And Barry, I was almost tempted to do your number. Because
Kathleen,
there is a
Kathleen's pretty
theory in
close.
negotiation. Watch this one, folks. The $900 is a throwaway bid. You ever play chess? The pawns are throwaway players, right? They're sacrificial. The $900 is just to say, really, all I'm doing is saying to them, hey, where you at? Are you real? If they only come up a little bit, we got to go, ooh, but they came up $5,000. So Barry, you might have gone that, because sometimes you go this much discount, you go this much discount, you go this much discount. And that really sends a message to where you're trying to finish, even though I might finish. So we went back at 357.5. They're at 350. Guess what happened next with them?
Now they're
And I hinted
splitting.
at it earlier in the show, if anyone was kind of paying attention.
I'm guessing they're splitting the difference with you on that one. That's what I think they've done.
Wayne?
I don't know, Neil.
They walked.
They walked.
They walked.
Did they seriously? Did they walk? Oh man,
$7,500 difference. They walked. They didn't serve another offer. So our realtor went back and just tried to play a little bit of the good cop of the bad cop, going, listen, I'm trying to tune these people in. Like, if I can get them to 355, would your people come there? Nope, not interested. So this is the question for everyone in the audience. Now you got a 350 take it or leave it offer from people. You're 3 days on market. We've had no showings today. We had 3 yesterday. So we're definitely seeing the slowdown in the market. Do you take 350 or do you say, let them stew? The answer to this is how long is a piece of string, of course, but
yeah. Well, do you I mean, as we're talking, I got 2 new showings just came through. 2 new showing requests. One was today, tonight, and one's tomorrow. So
how many days on market are you?
9.
9. See, there's still some traffic showing up at 9 days because
Yeah.
buyers are now aware they don't need to be in a hurry.
Yeah.
Right. If they're not gonna get in there the first 3-4 days, they might get a little bit more discount on that amount on what they're looking for. Barry, would you take it? Would you leave it?
You know, that'd depend on whether or not I really needed to do this deal. And I know you don't really need to do this deal. So am I Neil? I think you're going to leave it. I'm being Neil.
7,500. Anyone?
I believe again, you really need to know the information. How much, if you accept this deal right now as is, and I'm pretty sure that was an unconditional offer.
Unconditional, August 12th. They only want condo docs, which is fine, right?
Yeah. That's
not even a review, not even a subject to, just give us the docs.
I'm curious to know how much you're going to profit if you accept it at 350. So by knowing that number, whatever that profit is, then you can have a look at it and see, is it worth gambling this to make this? And
in
what's
this particular case, this townhouse is one that we bought as a foreclosure in 2018, and the rental one went sideways on it. So we're up. We're still well up in the market from where it was. Right, so the values have not really eroded in that product yet in Airdrie.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just, again, it's like bird in hand, take a decent, happy to take it profit, squeeze it for a little more, wait. 2 weeks from now, going, oh, should have taken it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Neil? Do you have any thoughts around driving your own market lower? You know, as a guy who looks to, you're buying and selling, are you concerned at all about affecting your own Airdrie market, which is a smaller market?
Well, that's a good question. I know that when we looked at it, we said that the sale range could start with a 340 something, and it might pull, the upper. It all depends if we got that early fish or not. And I think the longer it sits, the less chance, unless somehow you get the two buyers who show up at the same time. We've seen that happen. You got a 90-day old listing that's stale as the woods, and all of a sudden two people show up and they both want it.
Yeah.
But right, if you're playing percentages, has everyone weighed in? Comments are going pretty quiet.
Yeah, they want as stale as that offer.
We're inclined, just again because of the uncertainty of the market, to see if we can revive the offer and take it.
Yeah.
Bird in the hand.
Yeah.
As weird as that is. But again, in the world of right or wrong, there is no right answer, because you didn't know that your second offer was going to be worse than your first offer when you turned down the first one, Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You went with your gut, you went with what you heard, with what your showings rates were, with what your confidence level was with it. This one, I think I would have liked to have finished. I mean, you think about what a 359.9 list gives you in this particular market. The chances of sticking it there are slimmer for sure. The probability is low on that. So 350, not bad.
Yeah.
Would have been nice if it was 234. But if we're playing again on a flip, if that last $2,000-$4,000 are really what you're grinding it out for, other than for a little sport, yes, Don, I'm having fun, and a little bit of extra icing on your cake. But if that's your cake, it really means you want to look at your process on your next flip to say, did you buy? This one's not a flip, but did we buy it right? Did we go over budget? Did we take too long? And therefore our carrying costs are up. So, but it was just a bit of a fun exercise that happens to be live. That says there's stuff happening. There's houses being bought and sold, even in this, oh my God, the sky is falling market.
Mm-hmm. You had mentioned a minute ago, like at the 90-day mark where you had the two offers come in at the same time. That's ultimately what I'm always looking for. So that first offer that came in, I dragged that out for like 6 days. I would wait until the next morning to respond, because what I was waiting for is because I knew we had showings coming in every day. I was waiting for those people, because when they call and they ask, my realtor's going to say there's an offer on the table, and I want people to hear that. That's what I want. because I don't want them to come in with some $30,000 or $20,000 and they're asking BS. Because I mean, that's what I would do if I knew there was no offers on the table. I'm gonna see if I can get it lower. But if they know there's another offer or two on the table that's that we're exploring, they're not going to play around. And then when they put their offer in, then I can stay firm. I can say, well, no, here's our lowest or something like that. And they know that there's other people that are making offers and we're negotiating. So I want to leverage that. I want to leverage the fact of that uncertainty. I really want this house. I have to put full asking if I want it. That's what I want.
Bingo.
I hate negotiating personally. I like to leverage other people's offers to make people make decisions, because ultimately at the end of the day, if you got a good product, people are they'll do whatever it takes to get it, right?
The scarcity side of it. You're right.
Yeah, that's key, I think, is that you can't in a quieter market be putting schlock out there and expecting people to fall all over themselves. You need to always be putting out a good product that folks who come in want to buy it. I mean, you want everybody who comes through the door to really like what you've produced, and whether it fits for them ultimately, it's got to be attractive to them. And that gives you such a better chance at getting decent offers in good times and bad. So in tougher times, it's even more important to have a really nice product. I do believe that.
Schlock
Yes.
is my word of the day.
Schlock.
Never heard it before. Cheap or inferior goods or material. Trash. It's it's going in the notepad.
Put it in there. Put it
Way
in there.
better word.
Wayne has a whole new vocabulary. He's tossing them into the.
It's every Monday I learn a new word. I love
Am I
it.
right, Wayne? Wayne, am I right?
Yeah, you betcha.
All right. What else we got here? Any other questions?
No,
You know what? Donna asked a question earlier. I don't know if you guys want to change topics or subjects or not, but back to what you're talking about. Is there a keyword you use for this market when advertising? That was directed towards Neil.
Okay. Well, both of you, not just Neil.
Okay. I'll go back to thinking about that. That's a good question. Right now, so what motivates people in general? There's two things: fear of loss and opportunity for gain. I can't do two fingers apparently. So what do you think the higher motivating factor in this market is going to be, with all the negativity coming out there and the rates like we're talking about? It's the fear of potential loss.
Yeah.
So if you were going to use it, are you worried, might be the word about it, right? Interest rates got you down, that sort of thing, along that theme going. Is there a storm on your horizon with these inflation and rates that's happening right now, right? That sort of advertising, I think, is going to maybe talk to more people than what's the possible gain out there right now.
Oh, by far. And just so people understand that, that, Neil, and I think, Wayne, you know as well, that fear of loss is far more influential for people's decision making than booking a gain. Fear of loss, it's paralyzing for people. So yeah, if you're looking for some keywords, focus on the fear that people have in this kind of a marketplace, which we can help them fix those things that are scaring the heck out of them.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, here's a little nugget for the people watching, so you can help quell some of that fear. The bond rate has actually fallen in the last little while. So
That's
the market, the 5-year bond rate is down. The market is starting to say perhaps some of these corrective measures we're seeing right now are pushing forward. So they're starting to price in the fact that what we're seeing today is not forever, which we know it isn't.
Right. So the bond rate affects the fixed rate side of things, as I recall.
Yeah.
You and Sean talk about it, as opposed to the Bank of Canada Prime, which affects the variable side of things, the shorter term side.
Literally, if you got a rate hold a week ago, you may actually have a better rate hold and reset your 90-day clock today if you're working with a broker.
Yeah, I know.
Again, Sean's out there, he can comment on that.
Well, I think that's a good one to finish on, laddies. Well, that's
there's one.
very instructive. A question. Where is it? Where? What? I didn't see it.
Mr. Dodds.
What does Ken have to say here? As interest rates rise and things slow, do the costs of rentals development decrease? If yes, what approximate time frame?
Hmm.
Cost of rentals and development decrease.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean,
In theory, yes. Because if there's supply and demand of labor, right? We were hearing framing crews were getting paid by some of the Calgary home builders like double and triple the rate because they just wanted to slam as many things up as quickly as they could, type of thing. Those rates won't stay up forever. You know that with builders. So yes, costs will come down, but how long?
yeah, that's tough to sell. I mean, things do have to slow down, and inflation has to slow down in order for those costs to decrease. And yeah, the predictions are that this inflationary bit is not going to last as long as anybody thinks. Uh-oh. Here we
Bad
go.
phone.
Back on.
Ching.
All right.
Very well.
Well, listen, on that note, folks, thanks to everybody for showing up. Wayne?
I had to mute him.
I know. Well, thanks, everyone. Thanks for showing up. Another Monday Madness now done, and we will head off, do our things for the evening. Don't forget about September 24th coming up. And good night, everybody.
Okay, see you guys.
Take care, everyone.